seems like the mic is a little quiet. That's okay. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is you open up your creation that you made. I just have a really simple headband just because it's really easy to show you how to do that. So you open that up and you should have JPEXS free flash decompiler installed. It looks like this. If you don't have it, I'll send you a link, but you should just be able to Google it. So what you want to do is you want to open up an SWF. There is a pack that you can get from RetroRipper, but if you don't have that, or if you can't get to it, I can send you a link again. So I'm going to have to pick a category that I think this will fit into. So one of the head categories, accessory heads, it matters what category you pick because it changes the layering options. So I'm going to go with earmuffs. I think that'll be the easiest one because it's recolorable and I can kind of guess where the lines will be on this one. So really, essentially what you're just doing is replacing the images in an existing SWF file. You don't need to rename it. Let the developers do that on the retro. Okay, so now that we've got that open, you want to go to your desktop so we know where it is. Make a new folder and just call it whatever you want it, whatever it is you're making. So I'm going to call mine headband. Just an empty folder. And what you want to do is you want to go here to export all parts. And that just takes all of these files and makes them usable, makes it so we can open it in Photoshop or whatever. So we find that folder we made right here, open, and it should have been exported. And you'll see it's all here. All right. So there's a lot of files here, which makes it seem a little daunting, but the only ones we need to concern ourselves with is images and binary data. So images, obviously this is where all your images go, and then binary data, that is like a code. So we won't worry about that right now. We're going to worry about the images in here. So we have to open up one of the images. Just pick an angle that you want to do first. I'm just going to do the first angle, which is this one that I have here. Opening that up. And I'll have to resize it to make it fit what I need. And I'm literally just going to copy this from my original file and paste it on top. And when you paste it on top, when you hit Control V, it pastes it as a layer in Photoshop. So you'll just have to position this over top where you think it might go. There's a lot of repositioning involved in this. And then you'll want to hide this, click the eye, hide this lower layer, and then just save as PNG. And I just save it as what it is. It makes it easier. And it will just replace that image. Yes. Okay. So once we've done that, it won't show up in here because all we did was replace the exported file. So we still have to replace this one. And you just right click the image you want to replace. And go to your exported file. and it should be there. Okay, so we'll save that. And it's actually not totally necessary to have a client set up, but you might want it. There's a lot of YouTube tutorials to set one up. I could just go through these and just position it roughly where I want it and then get somebody else to test it for me. But if I want to see it instantly, I have this client set up for myself. Clear my cache. And as long as I saved it, it should update in the client instantly if I have it in the right folder. And there it is. And you can see that it's not in the right position. I don't want it to look like that. I wanted it to be up further. So I have two options now. I can either just adjust it in here, and actually I won't be able to because it was lower than this, right? I can either adjust it in here in Photoshop and just nudge it around, or I can edit the binary data file, and that was this one in here. This looks like a mess, I know. So to get to that, you just go back to your folder where you had the items exported, and you right click this and hit edit with Notepad++. If you don't have that installed, you can just use Notepad, but it's a lot harder to use it. So this is what this looks like, and what I need to adjust here is the corresponding image. So in some of these files, there's a lot going on, so it's helpful to memorize the codes in here. So I have to find HSTDHE224220 in here. I actually think it might be, yeah, I think it's this one. So these are parameters. Negative 17 means it's going to the right 17. 73 means it is from down, it is 73 pixels high. So if I want to move it up, I'll make this bigger. And save that. And of course, whatever you edit in the exported files, you'll have to replace in here. So I just do this in this side here and go to replace. Binary data. And then save. We'll see what that looks like. So it's not necessarily difficult to do these, it's just it takes a while. It takes some time to position them on the body. So that's too far up, and that's fine because I can just move it down now in Photoshop. Save that. And I can just expand this however many pixels I think it might need. Save as. Whoops. Place, yes, okay. Find it in here. Replace. And that should be moved down a little bit. mean, it's not perfect, but for the purposes of this video, it works. So you can see just if I nudge it around, it'll move around on the head. And you want to do that for every single angle that you've made. So I'm just going to keep doing these. That's good enough. And it's recolorable. Looks good. I'm not going to get this added, don't worry. But that's basically how you do it. Now this is a pretty simple clothing item. It's a pretty simple accessory. With some of the shirts, I'll show you. They're really, really complicated. Oh my god, where am I going? So let's say I have a shirt that has a lot of custom sleeves or custom shoulders or something. You'll see. I don't know, let's go with kimono 2. Don't even know what that is. See these? There are so many arm angles that you have to do. That's why it took so long to do the fur coat, because I had to replace every one of these angles. And it can be kind of time consuming. So if you want to make a shirt, I recommend just using the existing arm angles and then just doing these bits. That's why I always say, like, if you want to do a shirt, do it armless or sleeveless. It has to look like that. But for something like this, or for something small, there really isn't much to deal with. If you want to, okay, so let's say you don't need an angle. So I don't need the back angle, or I don't need the lying down angle, let's say. I can just replace it with a blank PNG, make sure there's nothing on it. And I have one set up, it's just called blank.png, so I can just, oh my god, double click that. And you need to do that instead of removing it, because removing it will cause the whole item to break, cause the whole piece of clothing to break. So just use a blank PNG. Yep, and that's about it. I don't even bother with these. These are the faraway angles. I think they were used in an older version of Habo, but you literally never see them, ever. So I just leave them in. Maybe that's bad, but whatever. Wonder if anybody's watching. I don't know. But I'm just going to keep doing these so you can kind of maybe get the hang of it at a repetition. I'm thinking that this one's the front. I know I can just do export, quick export as PNG, but I want to make sure that I have it named correctly. Because sometimes I reuse angles. I want to make sure I have the right code. Yeah, that's right. Where am I? So for every time I edit a clothing, I have to restart the client and make sure it looks good, make sure it fits okay. So that was the back angle that I did instead of the front, which I guess are the same on the earmuffs. Oh well, whatever. I'm not getting it at it, so it doesn't matter. But that looks okay, whatever. I'm not winning any beauty pageants with it, but it works. Do the side angle next. It's helpful to pay attention to these numbers here. The number 9 obviously corresponds to the number 9 in the exported file. Save. Check it out. I'll give you the links if you need them. But for most things, you can just Google them. Okay, so again, this needs to be moved up, but I can't move it up anymore without cutting it off. So I have to edit this file. Number 9, it was HSTDHE10K. This isn't this one? Yeah. So I'll just increase it by 10. It's always a safe bet when you increase it by 10. For some really long items, like when I did that big long ponytail or the big long braid, I had to increase it really high. Otherwise, it wasn't going to show up. What am I doing? Okay. Remember, everything you replace in the exported file, you have to replace in the actual SWF file. So once that's saved, maybe I'll write a step-by-step. It might be kind of hard to follow me. See, that's way too high, but it's okay. Better be too high than too low. Make sure you save as PNG. If you want to maintain the layers, save it as a Photoshop file. And this will work the same in any photo editor. You can even use GIMP or paint.net, I think. As long as you can save it as a PNG to maintain transparency, then you'll be okay. So really, it's just pretty much this all over and over again. It's too low. Increase it by like 5. So this is how I spend my days. Too low, too high. All right, this is the last time I'm doing this. Perfect, or as perfect as I can get it at this time. So once you're done, I just upload it to mega.nz, and then send the link with key to um, the owner of the retro or the developer of the retro, or I just put it on my site. So I hope this was helpful. We'll do one more angle. Actually, I should check if there's any comments. Oh. What was that, number 4? So we replaced number 4 in SWF, hit save. I'm sure if anyone from Havo was watching this, they'd have a heyday. They'd be so mad that I'm doing it this way. But for retro purposes, it's okay. Okay, that's way off. It also needs to go up, so. Again, open up your binary data file. It's good to just have it open. HSCD HE00. That's this one, presumably. Change to A2, save it. Now, if you want to change these, I would go lower if I needed to go to the left, and I would go higher if I needed to go to the right. So usually you only need to go to the left, because that just increases the space that you have to work with, because it's so much faster to go and nudge it around in Photoshop than it is to change the code, especially if you don't know what you're doing in here, really. Whoops. Okay, keep that where it is. Make sure I replace this. Save it. And check again. That's good. That means it worked. Now I just have to nudge it down. So remember, it's just images and binary data folders that we're using. Ignore everything else. You don't need any of the other things. For this purpose anyways. Too low. So this is when it starts getting really annoying, when nothing goes right. That's good enough. All right, so now that I'm done, I would just send it to the retro that I wanted it to be on. The reason we're not writing a script for it is because they have probably named their database something else than you would have made the script for. So it's better for them to just do that. They know what they're doing. And that's it. I have a line down angle actually. I don't know if you've noticed, but it doesn't matter how much space is on the right and on the bottom. So I could erase this and it would have no effect on what the positioning is. It's only the top, the space from the top and the space from the left that matters. So this is when I'd have to go lie down somewhere. And it's not on right, but whatever. You get the idea. Does anyone have any questions? Let me know. You can always DM me at @habrebecca. I'm always available. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna stop the stream.